All right, guys, we are live with Make It Make Sense Live, which is our business discussion of the week. Now, let me go ahead and admit that we had a technical glitch. We did have the conversation at 8 a.m., 8:15 a.m. Eastern Time. We actually had an in-studio audience. Shout out to Shawana Kennedy, Kennedy Media, and Dr. Latoya Davis. They were here. They took part in the conversation, all the things. However, it wasn't until after we finished the live stream that I recognized that it did not go through to YouTube. So I am going back to give you guys the information that they got. So you will not hear the studio comments and the studio engagement. But if you are with me here live in the comments, I can see your comments right now. Okay. But I do want to give you this information because it was just too good not to share. When I made an announcement in the community that they missed it and they should have been in studio, I was like, no, I was waiting on this information. So I was like, you know what? I got time. Let me go ahead and do this broadcast over again. So enough of all of that. Welcome to Make It Make Sense Live. It's our live discussion of the week. And it all starts with the discussion questions on Talk About It Tuesday from yesterday. So let me tell you what those questions were, okay? And I want you to be thinking about your answer. If you happen to be live with me, feel free to put them in the chat, all right? Engagement question number 1. If somebody found you today, would what you have out there make them trust you enough to buy? Okay, that's number 1. Answer that in your head. They found you today. If what they found would be enough to make them trust you to buy. Okay. Number 2, do you think clients care more about academic and other credentials, those certifications and the letters behind your name and that kind of thing, or proof that you can get them the transformation they want to invest in? Which do you think clients care more about? The last question was, what builds trust faster, your background or how you as a service provider show up and communicate? How you show up and communicate over what your background is. Okay, so those are the discussion questions. And what we're really doing is we're talking about credibility. We're talking about credibility. But why is this still important in 2026? Well, it's because me as a fractional COO, I create frameworks for everything, right? So this is the framework I want to take you through. Credibility attracts attention, which is visibility. Visibility brings you leads, which is your bankability. And bankability converts into revenue, which is your profitability. Okay, so credibility attracts visibility. Visibility brings bankability. Bankability converts into profitability, which is what we're all here for, right? So if you have weak credibility, everything downstream struggles. If you don't have a visibility problem, you probably don't have a visibility problem, is what I mean. You probably have a belief problem. See, when you don't have credibility, people don't believe you. You need more people, right? And those more people is credibility. So I know that some of you are credible, and so you're ready for the next stage. All right. So let's get an accounting of your credibility, because that's where we have to start. If you know you're credible, which means you're getting people the transformation that you're trying to get people to invest in, then these are the things that you need to have an accounting of so that we can start putting your credibility out there. Okay. So this is 5 questions I want you to ask yourself to get an accounting of your credibility. And I don't just want you to ask yourself, I actually want you to document it because you're going to need it. The first question: what results do you get for people? When they give you money, what is the result that you're getting for them? Okay, that's the transformation. What is the transformation? Second, who is the specific category of people that you're getting this transformation for? And I want you to be niched with that. We talked about niche last week in our discussion. Okay, but this is where you get niche, because it's best to work with the people most likely to get your transformation than to try to work with everybody, knowing everybody's not situated to get the transformation like some people are. So we want to niche down to the people who are most likely to benefit from the transformation that we can bring about. Who is the best candidate? And those are the people we want to talk to, and those are the people we want to say that we help the most. Okay. So what is the transformation and who is getting this transformation? Next, what is the proof that you have that you're getting this transformation? Or what proof can you get? Okay. What proof do you have, or what proof can you get? Next question. How often do you show up? How often do you show up? Because little do you know, how often you show up lends itself to your credibility. Last question is, why should they trust you over somebody else who claims they get the same transformation that you do? See, this is where unique selling propositions come from, right? If you've been following me for a while, you know we talk about USPs all the time. What makes you unique? What makes this service unique? What makes your company or brand unique? All of those things need to be a part of the conversation of credibility. Okay. Now that you have an accounting of what makes you credible and you have it documented, we need to turn these things into messaging and your pitch. Now, your pitch could be a pitch for anything, but a lot of you know it as elevator pitch. All right. So let me give you an example. I help women improve their wellness. That's what some people are saying. You're saying who you help in a very unniched way, and you're saying what you help with in a very non-detailed way. That's not real credibility. That could be easily ignored. That could apply to almost anybody about almost anything, right? You help any kind of woman about any kind of wellness. That's not credibility. That's vagueness. Nobody's paying attention to that. So, what would be a more credible version of that? Well, I help women reduce stress, sleep through the night, and stabilize their hormones in 90 days without restrictive routines. Okay. So that is more credible. It tells me exactly the type of woman that I'm helping. Because really, what that is, the woman that that's speaking to is most likely a woman that is either premenopausal or menopausal. They could have put that in there, right? But any woman that is not getting good sleep, or they can go to sleep, but they can't sleep through the night, and most likely that's hormonal, right? And we can stabilize that in 90 days without this thing that makes it seem like our life is not worth living. Because some of the stuff that they say is a solution to that makes you feel like you're not really living life. So that is a more credible pitch, a more credible messaging. I want to show you an example of messaging I used to use. Now, as a fractional COO, what I understood was entrepreneurs and small business owners that need me the most don't know what I can bring to their business and the value that it will have and the impact that it will have. So I'm going to share something with you. Let me share my screen. This is an actual message. It was on Facebook. And this is Mark Gaskins. Shout out to Mark Gaskins and his lovely wife, Mahia, because they are my ex-client. But I was on a post where somebody said they needed an operations person, and everybody was tagging me. And you know, they were saying I was a fractional COO. Mark came on and he said, "Oh, that's dope. What does a fractional COO do? I'm new to this phrase and I'm intrigued," right? And so I said, "Hey, Mark." And then I went into my kind of vague, credible pitch. I help virtual service-based small business CEOs to build their business around the freedom they want to live through clarity, structure, and shared leadership for growth. Now, usually that's where I stop, right? Usually that's where I stop. But kind of like the one we gave an example, I help women improve their wellness. That's not enough for people to really see themselves in that phrase that they need me. It was only when I went on to say, my clients experience success with business and revenue goals without singular leadership burdens. And I said what that is: decision fatigue, team management, crisis management, without stalled forward motion. And I said what that is. It looks like bottlenecking, right? Without continued overwhelm. That looks like from working more in your business and the business instead of working on the business, being the visionary and the rainmaker, because that's what most CEOs want to do. They want to be the rainmaker. They want to be the visionary. They don't want to do all the admin things and all the execution things, right? And finally, without lack of freedom for life outside of business. All right, so that's that freedom lifestyle thing. When I said that, he instantly jumped in my DMs and was like, I need you. So stop going from weak statements and go to more credible statements. And we're going to talk about that a little more. Okay, first, let me stop sharing my screen. All right. Well, I stopped sharing my screen and then I got lost with everything else. All right. So let's go deeper with, first I want to talk about, now that you have an accounting of your credibility and you have your messaging, okay? I want to talk about the touch points you should be putting this credibility in this messaging. It should be used in your social bios. It should be used in your speaking bios. It should be used in the descriptions of your posts, even if it's just like a little tagline that's last. It should be used in like your YouTube descriptions. Again, you can have a format where it's last. It could be a pinned post for other types of, a pinned comment for other types of posts. It could be a pinned post for an account. Kind of like your IG highlights, right? You should be using this stuff on your website homepage, on your website about me. You should be using it somewhere on your service page. It should be part of your service discovery call experience. It should be part of your email responses. It could be the footnote of every email. It could be a part of your comments and your DMs, a little quick caption about your credibility, because wherever you show up, your credibility should be there too, especially in places where people don't already know you. And all the places I've listed are places where people are finding you, but they're not also finding your credibility. All right. Now, next thing we want to do is we want to push harder with the proof. Because let's face it, that's where the money is, in the proof. We've already established that all of those credentials with letters and all of that kind of stuff, people care less about that in most arenas and more about, prove to me you can get me the transformation I'm willing to pay money for. Okay? So proof is where the money is. But if your proof isn't specific, it will not convert. Okay? So there's levels to this thing, right? There's always levels to everything. And so this is no different. There are levels to this thing. So I want to talk about some of these levels because I want to go beyond what you think is a level. That's what I want to do. I want to go beyond. I want what you think about as a high level of execution of credibility. I want to use that as the floor. Okay? I want to use that as the floor. So level 1, which is what I'm calling soft proof, testimonials, screenshots, and DMs. I know I just hurt your feelings. Just know that I love you. Okay? Just know that I love you. Hey, Yonsei, thank you for joining me live. Testimonials, screenshots, DMs. I know you think that's the epitome of proof, but I'm calling it soft proof. I'm calling it level 1 because I want you to go beyond that. Okay? So let's go to level 2. What does that look like? Because I know I just blew your mind. You're like, if that's level 1, what else you got to talk about? Well, next level is going to be specific proof. Okay? That's going to be like before and after metrics, timeline. And what that looks like that we're going to add to that pitch to make it more powerful is you take clients from A to B in C time. In C time. So remember when I gave you the example of, talking about the sleep and the stress and the hormones within 90 days. See that C? We're taking them from A to B in C amount of time. That is going to level up your proof to be specific proof. Okay, so that's level 2. Level 3 is authority proof. Authority proof, because there might be people in your niche that service the same people with the same transformation, and they might say they can take them to this before and this after, and this amount of time also. So what else is going to level you up with your proof? Authority proof. Has anybody trusted your expertise enough to speak on their platform, on their stage? The better the stage, the better your credibility with that, because people are trusting your expertise. So people are more apt to pick you over your competition because somebody of noteworthiness trusted your expertise too. Do you have any media features? And again, the better the media, the better the feature is going to be for authority proof. Last but not least, awards. Have you won any awards, either for your expertise, for your service? That is going to level you up. That is level 3. Okay. But I have one more level. Level 4, lived proof. Lived proof. A lot of us became entrepreneurs in a niche that solves a problem we used to have. So you can definitely use your own result as lived proof. Now all your messaging is going to resonate because you used to be them and they want to be who you are now. So you can use that. That lived proof is high. If you don't have lived proof because you didn't have that problem, but your expertise solves that problem for someone else, then you need to be big up in your system. Okay, your system. How do you get them from A to B in C amount of time? What is your framework? What is your system? Because we trust systems. We don't trust people saying, we're going to help you go from here to here in this amount of time, but they don't really give us any inclination of how. Nothing about how they're going to do it. So that how needs to be your branded system. It needs to be your particular way of getting them there, and that adds more credibility. Okay, so that's your level 4. I'll go back through the levels for you. Level 1 was soft proof, testimonial, screenshots, DMs. Level 2, specific proof, the before and after metrics and the timeline. So that's the A to B and C amount of time. Level 3, authority proof. Who else trusted your authority? So what speaking platforms, what media features, what awards have you or your service won? Level 4, lived proof, either of your own results or the system of how you get other people. Okay. So I would be remiss if we got out of here and I didn't talk about credibility killers. Okay, because some of you have credibility, but you're killing your credibility. And I need you to know what you're doing to do that. So there are 3 main things you're doing to kill the credibility you work so hard to build up. Number 1, you're talking about what you know instead of what you've done. Okay, people don't really care about what you know as much as they care about what you've done. So what you know doesn't help them to make a buying decision like what you've done. So it goes back to people not trusting their ABC people no more, right? They're not trusting all the letters behind the name. They're not trusting the certification that you got because too much background proof of people with all of this knowledge and know, but did not apply it to get results for people who paid them. So stop talking about what you know and talk about what you've done. Talk about the transformations you've helped to bring about. Talk about how you apply what you know to get them where they want to go. Okay, cool. The next thing that's a credibility killer is inconsistent visibility is killing y'all. Okay, you can be the most credible. You can do all the things, but if you only show up every now and then, and it's usually when you selling something, you lose credibility when you do that. What is the first thing that people do when they see a Facebook ad? They read it and then they start saying, okay, I know I need that. That sounds good. Then they click on your account and they recognize that you haven't said anything organically in 6 months. That starts working against your credibility. It starts eating away at your credibility because now they're back into being unsure. You need to show up consistently. Even when you have paid ads, you're still going to need some organic marketing under that, some organic content under that. So show up consistently. Last but not least, a credibility killer is messaging that sounds like everyone else. And let me tell you that I feel like either you're lazy or it's a confidence problem. Most of y'all are not lazy, so I'm going to go with confidence problem. Okay. You are out here, you see people who you feel like are killing it, and you want to seem like you're killing it too. You want to kill it too. So you start doing what they're doing exactly the way they're doing it. Now, there's nothing wrong with being inspired by, but don't duplicate. Don't turn into a mini version of them. Because if they did it first, you never will be as credible as they are. And if nobody knows who did it first and they just see everybody doing the same thing, that's no longer a credible thing to do. There's nothing stand out about it. Everybody's doing it. Okay. So let me tell you how you can be inspired, but you should always put your own twist on things. You should always show up as yourself in different rooms because you are the secret sauce to everything anyway. All right. Cool beans. So those are your credibility killers. Now, this conversation is going to continue. It all starts with it's a week-long conversation that we have every week, right? We're talking about the same thing all week long. It all starts with Talk About It Tuesday, where you answer the discussion questions. So remember, I started today with those discussion questions. Wednesdays is the live discussion, what we're doing right now, where I give you value around the topic of those questions. Okay, we just did that today. So I need you to stay tuned. Because in our community right here on YouTube, tomorrow we further the conversation with Her Biz Breakdown, where I'm going to give you case studies that's going to drive the value home that we talked about today. And finally, on Friday in our community is where we're going to pull from our morning show episodes, our past morning show episodes. We're going to pull them out the vault. And I'm going to give you the foundational value that were the inspiration for this week's topic. So you get to go get the exact links to go back to those morning shows because we're about to start unlisting those morning shows. Shout out to Dr. Latoya Davis, who gave me some information about how YouTube works and how I should not necessarily have these old shows still listed, but you'll still be able to get to them and access them through the links I give you on Fridays, okay? So all week long, we're having a discussion on the same topic. Tuesday are the discussion questions. Wednesday, every Wednesday, like today, is going to be the live discussion. Thursday is going to be the case studies in the same topic that proves that showing you how this has worked out in a while. So case studies under Her Biz Breakdown. And then on Friday, I share with you the foundation of where I got the topic from and the morning show links to go back to that foundational information and value. All right? Cool. Find out more about me, your host, Shay Cannon, plus get a link to this free community that we are building here on YouTube in the descriptions. Because I know you're like, YouTube community, where is that? No problem, I'll give you the direct link. It's not going to take you off of YouTube. You'll still be on YouTube. You'll just be in a different tab where you can see what's happening all throughout the week, all right? Now, if you have not already, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up for this episode, and make sure that you are subscribed to the channel because what you know is you don't want to miss anything, nothing that's going on in the community, nor any of the videos and the lives that we have, all right? Keep in mind, this is just one video in a series, so make sure you check out the other videos, all right? And with that, we are ending the discussion, and I want you to join our community so you don't miss the breakdown and you don't miss the morning show vault. Thank you, Yancey. See you tomorrow.